I'm Shawn.
And I'm Mike, and you're listening to
Shawn and Mike Take a Hike. Okay, so what are we talking about today, Mike?
booze. One of my
Booze.
one of my favorite things. You and I kind of talked about when we first started this. When I was trying to figure out how to take a cooler, because you and I are both. Not me so much anymore, but you and I were at the time when we first started this more just beer drinkers. We were not any kind of liquor or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I was trying to figure out, you mentioned I'm not doing this sober, so am I getting?
I stand by that. I want to have a little something to drink when we get to camp. I want a little
reward nip, and So I was trying to figure out. You were like, "Well, yeah, I was going to take some booze or whatever," and I'm thinking in my mind it was beer, and so I was trying to figure out how am I going to pack a cooler and keep ice and because I don't like warm beer. I know there are people out there that like warm beer. I am not one of them.
Yep, my husband is one of those people. He probably would have been fine taking a 6-pack of beer. Although, realistically, what's a 6-pack of beer going to do you over 4 days? But whatever.
So, I have gotten into some bourbons and whiskeys and all that kind of stuff over the last few years. And
unrelated to hiking.
Unrelated. Just, I enjoy having some nips and some sips of bourbons and whatever. I prefer my stuff chilled on the rocks. So that's also a problem in the woods when you don't have ice available to you. So that was kind of a thought. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself with with all of this, but you asked me.
No, I mean this is what we're talking about. Yeah, no, this is what we're talking about. So yeah, I know you're not getting ahead of yourself, but so like you were saying, when we started, I think we both were like, okay, how is this going to work? What are we going to do?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we've said it in other podcasts, like normally our normal camping experience, we're glampers, right? So like when we go camping, which some people wouldn't even call that camping, but let's just for argument's sake say that glamping is camping. You and I both have a refrigerator and freezer in our campers. And then aside from that, even if we were quote unquote roughing it, you have a cooler full of ice. So when we got to
and you have you typically have a store nearby.
Yeah.
That you can go get supplies
have a store
and get refills or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So when we first started saying like, okay, we're going to go and we're going to spend 4 days in the woods and you're carrying everything in this backpack.
Right.
What are we going to do? Because at the end of the day, if I've been around you hiking in the woods all day, I'm going to need something to drink.
Yeah. Well, yeah, likewise.
And I get it. So I'm going to need something, and we had to figure out, like, okay, how does that work? Like, what is because clearly, like you said, like, we're beer drinkers most of the time, right? Like, you and I both like a beer,
or many.
Not just a beer. I like a cold beer, or many. But I like a cold beer. So if we're not going to have ice, because clearly we're not going to carry ice.
Right. Oh, could you imagine that shit show if you tried to carry a bag of ice with you?
No.
I mean, I can imagine it. Like I have a pretty good imagination, but the whole thing would be just a shit show. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I see on your face. No, you're fine. I see on your face you imagining carrying bag of ice. And no, it is clearly not going to work to have a bag of ice. So then the next thing is like, okay, so if you're not going to have a bag of ice, then what is it going to look like to take booze? And then if you're going to take booze, then on top of it, just like being like no ice, it's like, what are you taking booze-wise that not only can you drink straight or maybe with water, right? Because theoretically you could mix something with water. So like if you're a whiskey and water type person or whatever, maybe you could do that, but it's still going to be warm at the end of the day, right? Like that's the whole, it's going to be maybe not hot, but it's going to be room temperature at the very least. So that's kind of the angle that you and I approach to that is what will you drink at room temperature?
Yeah. And I like really good bourbons and really good whiskeys that I can drink at room temperature. I prefer not to. And for the price point of those, I'm not taking them out into the woods. At least, and especially not a full fifth or a half gallon or anything that I choose to, or a liter that I buy them at. You know, I'm not carrying that much. And it's in a glass bottle. The first trip that we went on in the Porkies, you took a glass bottle. Turns out we read the rules after the fact. I don't think you were supposed to. But
oh no, I for sure wasn't supposed to, and I have not since.
Right.
Like that was genuinely a like rookie mistake.
And at least you packed it out. You carried it out. You didn't just drink it and toss it. You carried it out.
Right.
So
I did.
Your fault. You made up for it. Let bygones be bygones in that matter. But I was at the from the get-go, we were either trying to find a flask, like a plastic flask, or a just a bag or reusable, just whatever neoprene, not neoprene, but rubber, whatever flask that'll fit. Nothing is big enough for the amount that I want to take. Makes me sound bad, but nothing was
yep, a little bit
big enough. So I just went and I found plastic pints. I'm okay with. I'm not going to just drink Jack straight. I'm not going to drink Jim Beam or whatever straight. I will drink some of their flavored things straight and warm. That's the other key. Not just straight, but also not warm. So I found one that I really like. Well, I love Tennessee honey. I got into a honey flavored whiskey from a distiller out in Kalamazoo.
You love your honey flavored stuff.
I'm
not a honey flavored guy. I'm just not into it.
Yep. So I found honey. They've got Tennessee honey, and I think there's a Jim Beam honey. So those are really good. I also like Red Stag. There it is. The Red Stag that you think it tastes like cough syrup.
I know. Which one is the Red Stag? What does that taste like?
It's black cherry Kool-Aid.
It's black cherry. That's the black cherry one. Yeah, that one. I think it kind of tastes like cough syrup, kind of.
Yeah, not to me. It tastes exactly. Maybe I had a weird childhood, but it tastes like black cherry Kool-Aid to me. And that stuff goes down so easy that I have to be careful with it. So warm or chilled, I have to be careful with it. But
my other thing too is I think you have let me try, unrelated to hiking, I think I have tried that Red Stag at your house chilled, and I liked it chilled. But when it was warm, it reminded me too much of cough syrup when I had it when it was warm. So like that's the problem, right? Because even all these things that let's just say that I'm right in the way I remember this, that I had it chilled and I liked it. Well, I liked it chilled, but warm is a whole different thing. It's like
it is.
And I keep saying warm, and I don't mean
yeah.
warm, I just mean room temperature.
Yeah. Whatever the temperature is that you're hiking, that's what it's going to be. We have joked that we were going to toss or tie our paracord, because I always take some paracord with us, wrap our paracord, tie it around our bottles of whatever we're going to drink that night, and toss it into Lake Superior or whatever creek is right next to us, because that is usually very cold water where we are hiking, and let it chill for a little bit. So
I know. Why didn't we do that last time? I think we should have done that.
No, we should have. We should have tried that.
Because I do stand by that that's a good idea. We just never actually did the thing that we said we were going to do.
Yeah, because you don't want to do it if you have broken the seal, just because there is a chance that there could be something that gets in from the lake or the stream or whatever. But if it's factory sealed, it should be okay, right?
You know what? Now that you're saying that out loud, and we probably should have thought of this, but what I'm concerned about is, now that we're actually talking about it, is even with that seal being there and you throw it in a lake, you're still putting the part of the bottle that's to your lips that's on the outside of that seal. So I wonder if let's pretend you threw it in a river, right? Because the river was cold, but what if that river had, let's say, E. coli in it? Mm-hmm. You're still putting that part of the bottle on the outside of the seal to your lips. Would that get in your system if you drank that?
Well, if before you tossed it in the river and you had never opened that bottle before, a lot of them have a plastic seal, but it's when you go into toss it in, but then you uncap it, nothing should be getting in or out. So you uncap it, and then what you're putting your lips to would be under the cap, which water should be getting to.
That's not where the seal's at, though. The seal is on the top. The seal is like when you're looking at the cap, the seal is at the top of the cap. I don't know. I don't know if that would be enough to make you sick or not sick.
That's what the alcohol is for?
Yeah. I don't know if that's how that works, though.
Oh.
So maybe throwing it in the lake is not the best idea. Maybe we'll have to... so if we have any doctors listening, write in to ShawnMikeHike@gmail.com and let us know, is it dangerous to throw it into a river?
Well, so, I watch Naked and Afraid, okay?
Oh, my God. We are not... Okay, go ahead. Neither one of us is surviving on Naked and Afraid for multiple reasons.
But I watch it from my couch, and I feel like I would do just fine.
Right.
I feel like they say that a moving body of water is a lot less likely to hold bacteria than a stagnant body of water. So it would probably be better to put it into a stream or a river than it would, unless it's the Tittabawassee where we're at, because that's got the dioxin. But even Lake Superior, that's a moving body of water. That's got plenty of movement to it. So
okay, but I hear you. I'm not trying to argue with you, but
I feel like you are.
What's the difference between Lake Superior and, just as an example, Higgins Lake? Higgins Lake is moving.
Does
Higgins Lake have an outlet?
I believe it does. It's got the
every year we go there, it has a warning on the beach that it's got swimmer's itch because there's too much goose poop in the lake. So
yeah, but Lake Superior is like the ocean.
Okay, but Lake Superior also has dead bodies in it, so
yeah,
they're halfway between the surface and the bottom.
I think we're getting into things we don't need to talk about.
Okay. Okay. So,
but also
for the
volume of water in the Lake Superior and the volume of water in in Higgins Lake drastically different. There's probably bodies in Higgins Lake.
I read something on the internet, and this is off topic completely, but I read something on the internet that everybody has like a dead body to water ratio limit on what they're willing to do. Like one dead body in a pool, you're probably not going in that pool. But one dead body in Lake Superior, you and I both went in Lake Superior. So what is the cutoff to amount of water to dead bodies before people won't go in it?
Like, we know that you and I, at least I know that there are hundreds of dead bodies in Lake Superior.
We went to the museum about it.
Exactly.
It's not funny. I shouldn't be laughing because it's not funny. It's tragic, but in the context of this conversation.
In the context of this, I knowingly... Well, and there were shipwrecks. Apparently, we didn't get to see them, but there were shipwrecks visible from where we were hiking.
Yes.
So, and we still went swimming in it. So, apparently, I don't have a high dead body count in my body of water.
I don't know. That's a pretty big body of water.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, off topic. Back to the booze. I don't know as though I'm recommending anybody throw their bottle into a body of water until we get somebody with more knowledge about bacteria to weigh in.
Or we try it ourselves.
I'm just saying it's an option if you need cooler booze, but I'm not going to say that I recommend it because I don't know what the rules are.
Now that I think about that,
But, so having said that, back to the whole thing is, you have to bring something that you don't mind drinking at room temperature because you are carrying it in a backpack.
You don't have to.
If
you choose to.
That is fair. You don't have to bring booze at all. We
choose
chatted with some people the last time we were hiking that were surprised to see that as we were sitting around the campfire that we had something that was not powdered hot chocolate, which is what I think she was drinking.
One of them had tea, one of them had hot chocolate, another one had, I think, instant coffee. They had their
I do
stuff.
love instant coffee. That was a great idea. You had the instant coffee idea last time. It is not the same, but it'll do it.
It's not great, but it's a nice pick-me-up in the morning.
It was, in my
especially when you were boozing the night before.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, I guess let's talk about containers, because you kind of already mentioned, like, we looked at, how do you bring the booze. So let's pretend you found a booze that you don't mind drinking at room temperature, right? So you've crossed that hurdle. What does it look like? Let's talk about like the mistake, the cardinal rule mistake that I made the first trip, which was bringing a glass container. In my defense, I didn't know any better.
Well, and that's not every area. Like,
it's not, but I still think even in areas where it's not a hard, fast rule,
it's frowned upon.
It's a bad idea.
It's frowned upon. Well, in my opinion, it's a bad idea just because that glass weighs a lot more than plastic.
Yep.
Not that plastic is great for the environment. Do your due diligence.
That's a different podcast. That is a different... we are not fighting that battle today. You and I are on the same page that plastic is bad, but we are not solving that problem today.
Do your due diligence, take it home and recycle it. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Let's just leave. Mike and I are all about the climate. We could get into a lengthy discussion about plastic. Let's leave that conversation for a different day.
Okay. Not the time or the place, apparently.
Somebody's going to write in and tell us that we need to be using like aluminum flasks, and I just know it. And I don't disagree. I'm just not that good of a human, I guess. I don't know. So let's pretend you found a booze that you like. that will drink warm. So what are the options as far as like container wise that we have tried or that we think is good? You're scrubbing your face like you don't know the answer. So let me tell you what I did the last time.
I'm thinking, and I know the answer, and I just don't like the answer. Go ahead, and you.
Why? What don't you like?
Well, we've tried the little baggy plastic flask. Like we tried to do the reusable thing, like the reusable plastic baggy flask. And it leaked. Thank God we had it in a plastic, separate Ziploc baggie just in case. Like
we double bagged it. I want to say, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it still leaked.
So, maybe those are cheap ones, whatever. But
I mean, aren't they all cheap ones?
Well, yeah, they're all gimmicky ones. Like just because somebody's trying to get it into a sporting event or whatever. Yeah. That's what those are made for. We were trying to.
I found
do the right thing, air quotes.
I know. I found some really nice ones. Remember those really nice ones that we found at Northwoods? They were...
Yeah.
Is it GSI Outdoors? Is that the name of the brand? It's the same brand that does like my camping chairs. I don't see one around me.
GCI?
I think it's GSI.
Something. Yeah.
I think it's GSI Outdoors or something like that. They make super nice reusable, like hard plastic flasks, like specifically for this, like for backpacking or for camping. The problem I had with those is they're like a weird 10-ounce size. So, like if you were going to use one, my general rule of thumb, and I guess we can talk about this if we're at this point, but like, how much booze do you want to take?
Right.
Like 10 ounces is not the same as a pint. Like, why don't they make their flasks pint-sized?
Right. Well, the same reason that they never used to make, there'd be like 6 hot dogs and 8 hot dog buns.
Oh, is that the reason? So that you have to buy an extra?
You have to buy another flask.
Capitalism. Fucking love capitalism.
Which is also another podcast.
That's a different podcast. That's Shawn and Mike's political podcast. But so we looked into those. Those seemed like a good option. We did not actually buy any, but they seemed really nice. Like the screw top looked sturdy. Yep. The cap attached, so you didn't have to worry about losing that. It seemed like a really nice option, but it's like the wrong size.
Wrong size for you. And
wrong size for me. Yes.
Like, because if you want 10 ounces of liquor to get you through the night, then that's the perfect size for you. I am on a rule of thumb of I take a pint per night.
Same.
And sometimes I wish I took more.
Right. The problem with taking more is that's the fine line between like what do you want to carry and what do you want to drink.
Right. But there's also the fine line of like sometimes I nip a few into my second pint for the night and like I run out and I don't feel so good the next morning. So that's what a pint per night is for me kind of the perfect ratio. Like once I run out, I go back to my water, I start hydrating again, doing all that stuff, the things you should do before bed, especially after boozing. I do. I fill my water bottle. I do. You don't.
Okay, I don't disagree. I don't disagree that you fill your water bottle. I don't know if I believe you drink your water bottle.
Oh yeah, no, I do. I leave enough for because I'm an old man. I have pills that I need to take in the morning. Right. I leave enough for my pills and stuff. But what?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was gonna say I'm sure it's super good to take on a stomach full of booze, but if you're waiting until the morning, not entirely positive that booze isn't still in there, but.
I get up 2 or 3 times and pee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we won't get into the night that I couldn't get out of my tent. But
Oh, that wasn't even peeing.
there was
Oh my
peeing.
god, that
It
was
was
peeing.
peeing. I
And
was laying in my tent the wrong way, and the door was on the wrong side, and I had to pee, and I couldn't get out because it turns out I was trying to unzip the window. It was a whole thing.
look, I thought we weren't getting into this, but then you went right and opened it up.
Well,
You opened it up like the door you tried.
Thank God there's a light on my phone. I wound up needing to get the light on my phone out to find the door to get out so I didn't wet the
And
tent.
that's why I take my little solar lantern there, and whenever I get up and it's dark out, I just sit up, hit the little button on my little lantern, lights up the whole tent.
Yeah, well, I don't have one of those. So anyway,
$7.
So the little plastic flask seems like an okay idea, but it's only 10 ounces.
Yep.
Or you kind of mentioned this briefly earlier. What you do is you find plastic pints, which I think is realistically, I think for the most part, the plastic pint is probably the best option if you're bringing booze that comes in a plastic pint. The last time we went, so one of my favorite things to bring that I do not love warm, but I can drink warm is Screwball. Screwball does not come in plastic, at least in our area.
Well,
I don't.
And Screwball, I think, is a regional thing. So if anybody's listening, I think so. If anybody's listening and they don't know what Screwball is, it is a peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah.
And it is delicious.
Oh, it's super good. It's like the best peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah. The best peanut butter whiskey that I have had. I will try others.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please write in if you have one to suggest.
or send us some. We'll give you our...
Yep. If anybody wants to sponsor, feel free.
Right. Yeah. There you go. We had one that we bought that was in a plastic pint. I want to say it was a Bulldog or something. I'm not gonna. But whatever. It was a peanut butter whiskey and in the right size, in the right plastic bottle, and it checked all the boxes except for the taste. It was
fine. It was fine. It wasn't as good. But so what I wound up doing is I wound up buying I think I actually bought a fifth of Screwball is what I bought. But then I just went and took a 20-ounce Pepsi bottle and emptied the 20 ounces of Pepsi and then put 20 ounces of Screwball into the 20 ounce.
That made me look real good that night at the campfire.
Everybody could tell that it was not Diet Pepsi in that 20 ouncer. It's not the same color. I don't think anybody believed for any bit that it was
Shawn
Diet
shows
Pepsi
up to this community fire pit. He's got a Diet Pepsi bottle with a brownish liquid, not as dark as Pepsi, and I just walk out there with my pint of whiskey, and everybody else has got their dinners and their and their water.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there pounding I wasn't pounding it, I'm just drinking it. We're socializing, whatever.
Weren't you? I mean,
maybe
you were kind of drinking that like you were on a mission. But I do think that was a good. I think that was a good cheap
idea.
Way to do it, to not bring a glass bottle. Like that actually worked out really well. It didn't leak. It was like a good amount. Like I actually thought that was a pretty good idea to do it that way. I kind of did it out of desperation, but it worked out well.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking at the same time too, like you empty a plastic pint, what's to keep you from refilling it with something else or something that you want to take? That could be your reusable plastic.
Well, that's true too, yeah.
It's not even, I mean, I'm not going to say it's BPA free and blah, 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 all that other crap, but it's a reusable upcycling method of
take your single-use plastic into a dual-use plastic.
In a dual or multi-use plastic type of a thing, and you can go buy, maybe save a little bit of money, because buying a pint is more expensive in per volume or per liter, whatever you want to say, per ounce.
I mean, it's almost like you're saving money. You know,
right?
You buy the more you buy, the more you save.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's like a twofer.
We are coming up with so many great ideas.
Oh my God, we are frugal.
Genius.
We're all about saving these people money, and
trying
drunk.
to save the planet and getting drunk.
Yeah, God, we're doing. This is solid. This is a good episode. We're on it this time.
So good.
So those are your kind of like container options. Like the bag ones, I don't know, unless somebody's had good luck with like a specific brand of like the bag pints. The ones we tried, I mean, they were just cheap Amazon ones, but that was not. It was a good idea, but it didn't work.
Right. Yeah, I'm all about like I said, I'm all about the reusables and trying to not have single use, like whatever. Like, I'm all about that. I just haven't found one that I liked. Mm-hmm. But then I just, like I said, just if you have a pint-sized bottle because it was a pint full of liquor at one time, there's nothing saying you can't pour a liquor back into it after you emptied it. So
so there's containers. So that's I mean, the other options are I mean, I kind of made fun of it earlier, but there are aluminum options if you're more of an aluminum person. I don't know how aluminum. Is it okay to put liquor in aluminum? It must be, right? Because like the regular flask, like the flask you got me for your wedding, you got all the groomsmen flasks for your wedding.
Was
that you? That was stainless. That wasn't aluminum, right?
And I didn't.
Right.
That was another friend of ours, but yeah, we both got them, and yeah, they were stainless. Yeah.
But they're small. That's the problem with those. Is they're small. Yeah. You know, that's like a sneak it in somewhere size. And I'm not trying to sneak when I'm.
That's the average drinker size.
Oh. Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm an alcoholic.
Chalk that one up.
Chalk that up to that. So, okay, so stainless. Well, stainless steel, because I think they do make those in different sizes, though. Like you could get a larger stainless.
Yeah. Like the ones we got were like the suit coat. Like you can fit them in your suit coat pocket or whatever. Like so. So it was your traditional. I'm gonna throw out a 375 milliliter size, which is, I think, half a pint.
Okay.
So I think that's what that size flask is. So we'd have to carry 6 of those.
So that don't seem like a good option for us.
Right. I think they make full-size stainless or aluminum flasks if you want to.
But then again, you got the weight. So like, because those are not light things. No. You know, the nice thing about the plastic, and as much as we all like plastic, and again, we can get into that in a different conversation, but the nice thing about plastic is it is lightweight.
It is lightweight. And if we do start reusing it, like if I start buying the liquor that I like to take in a bigger volume and pour it into that, then I'm saving the planet, and we're all better off.
Yeah. So those are your container options. So like whatever. So okay, so you've got drink it warm. Those are your container options. What do we want to talk about? What we like to take to drink? I mean,
we might as well. I mean, we've
had tried a few different things at this point.
We had a whole food episode of like what we like, what we don't like, and all that stuff. We might as well have a booze we like and a booze we don't like. So
Yeah. So what booze?
Which obviously we have not tried every single booze on the planet.
Right.
Would love to, but haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. Right.
Have not gotten there yet.
So why don't you do you want to run down like your top three? Well, like what are your top three picks for what
Yeah.
boozes you like that
So
you take?
so we touched on it earlier. I love the Tennessee honey or Jim Beam honey. Anything honey flavored, I'm good with. Yeah, that's kind of my go-to. I also really, really like the Red Stag. That's a Jim. I think that's Jim Beam. Um, I really enjoy that one, and I recently, from our last trip, really liked the Jim Beam Orange. I tried some different things because I used to just take, I think, two things of Tennessee honey. Okay, so when I say two things of Tennessee honey and another thing, that's our 3-night trip. It's
Right.
one per. It's not like
Right.
an overnighter, and I'm
Right.
pounding three pints. Though that's what I typically like. I also do like the I want to say it was Black Velvet Cherry. So I'll just say this. I prefer the flavored whiskeys that you can get in a plastic pint over the straight whiskeys you can get in a plastic pint.
Sure. Yeah. That's fair.
Only because that flavor takes a little bit of that kick off, that burn. Because the plastic pint is typically a cheaper liquor. So it's not distilled the same, it's not filtered the same, it's not the same. So if you're used to a more expensive or a better quality bourbon or whiskey or liquor, you're not going to get it in the plastic pint. But that being said, if you do enjoy a higher quality liquor, choke one or three of the the cheaper options down and pour your higher quality thing into that bottle and take that on the trail with you.
Yeah.
So that's my recommendation. So
that's your hot take.
You like other things than I do, obviously.
I know. So, like in my real life, I want like a nice. Realistically, like my go-to is a beer. But like if I'm not drinking a beer, my go-to is maybe a nice tequila, or I like a vodka mixed drink. So that's in my like real life if there's ice and stuff available. But what I have found that I like out on the trail, so my kind of go-tos are, I mentioned it earlier, Screwball. I do like Screwball or a equivalent peanut butter whiskey. I find that is acceptable at room temperature. It's still not as good as chilled, but that will work.
Not realistically, beverage-wise, unless you're talking hot chocolate or coffee. Well, I do like an iced coffee, so hot chocolate. Never mind.
You like cold chocolate milk, so
But I was gonna say I like a frozen hot chocolate. So move along. Okay. I said nothing.
Back onto what I like is normally I will take a Screwball, and again we're talking over a 3-night trip, so we're taking 1 pint per night, a 3-night trip. One night I will take a Screwball. One night I will take a usually Fireball, which I know sounds gross at room temperature, and honestly the first couple of sips are not great, but then you kind of just power through and the rest they just go down just fine. Or
once you get that buzz going.
Once you get that buzz going, it kind of don't matter, but you just got to find stuff that'll let you get that buzz. Or the other one that I have been taking quite a bit is the Evan Williams Cherry. which kind of tastes like a maraschino cherry. Kind of still gives that like cough syrup that the red stag that I don't like, but the red stag is too cough syrupy, and the Evan Williams cherry is more of just like a cherry cordial. So I do like that one. It's not my first pick, but if I'm on a 3-nighter and I need a little bit more variety, I'll usually pick that one.
So I've kind of gone with we're on a 3-nighter. I'll take 2 of the same and 1 of a different. But realistically, I could take all 3 of the same and just be just as happy. Like,
look, at the end of the day, when you get to camp, I just want something to drink. Because, I mean, it makes us sound like alcoholics, and I swear we're not. But, like, I don't want to be out in the woods with Mike for 4 days without having a drink, because he kind of gets on my every last nerve. But, I know, same. Get it. I get it.
Yep.
You don't want to be out there with me either. We're all we have, so it's whatever you can get you through.
You want to have a podcast about how much we hate each other in the trail?
Right. No, I mean, I'd like you an arm's length away most days.
Right. Why is your tent so close to mine? Go away.
Right. We're going to have to start booking 2 sites per night.
That wouldn't be a bad idea just to get some privacy, but at the same time, I hate to do that to people that want to get in there. And
that's the thing. I don't want to rob somebody else of being able to get a site just because you and I can't stand each other for 2 hours.
Right.
So, whatever. Anyway, so that's kind of what we take for booze. I don't know. What have you had that you don't like? I mean, have you had any that you've taken that was just like, oh, never again?
It wasn't a full bottle. It was one of those celebratory little mini shot things that we took for one of the trips. And it was a root beer liqueur. It's the same brand that I have in my freezer right now. I actually really enjoy it, frozen or chilled. But warm on the trail was very syrupy and not so great. So I would say like a root beer or something soda flavored, or a schnapps, maybe, probably not.
I can't imagine a schnapps being good.
Yeah.
At like a room temperature.
You mentioned I think I made the mistake of buying, it might have been the same trip that I got that root beer one. I got you one of those, you love your pickle vodkas.
I love a pickle. Not all pickle vodka, but the, not sponsored, but the original pickle shot vodka.
Yeah.
The brand name of it is the original pickle shot. If you have that and you like pickles, it is so freaking good. And I do like that. I know you don't like pickles, but for our, like, Mike and I usually take like a clinky. It depends on what we're going. If we're going on a multi-night one, we have it at the very beginning when we set off. If we're going for just a single night, it's our celebration when we get to camp. We take like just a single, like airplane bottle shot of something to have like just right when we get there to crack open to clinky.
Makes it sound even better. Like we're already taking booze, but we're taking extra booze.
Well, I mean, I like this one fits in like the front pouch of my backpack, so I can it's easy access. Like, yeah, it probably doesn't make us sound all that great, but I like that. The problem with that one is that is a for sure drink it cold drink.
Yeah,
and
I've never had it, but I can imagine. Yeah,
one is like a one single shooter is fine, but you couldn't drink it all night.
Right. Yeah. That's same with the root beer thing, like the schnapps or whatever that thing is. I tolerated the one warm one, but it wouldn't be something that I would want a fifth of, or not a fifth, a pint of on the like in the back country as my sipper all night.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, there's just some of those that you just wouldn't want. Like, a single shot is fine, but you're not going to be able to drink it all night. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing with if you are going to take something to drink on the trail, make sure you have plenty of water to stay hydrated, and also
here's the bottom line: don't be dumb, right? Like that's the whole thing. Like you and I like to get drunk. You and I like to drink when we're out there. Realistically, we both like to get drunk when we're out there, but I don't think either of us get stupid drunk. We're not walking away from camp out into the middle of the woods. We're not wandering off in the dark to fall off a cliff. We're not going out swimming when we've been drinking. We're not doing the things that, here's the bottom line. You are out in the middle of nowhere. Don't get
with
so
zero help.
drunk. With no
Don't
help.
get stupid. Yeah, don't get stupid.
Don't get stupid drunk. Like we like going out and having a good time. We like getting drunk.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll say this. I don't know that I've been moderately buzzed. I wouldn't necessarily say that I've been like drunk out there.
I have at least once been drunk out there. I'm thinking about the last night in the Porkies when we were there, and I had to hike out with a hangover, which was not a good idea. I do not recommend hiking with a hangover. But circumstances happened, and I got drunk the last night. So whatever. I don't necessarily recommend that.
If anybody wants to write in, I will tell you the story, and it is amazing.
Agree to disagree. But anyway, don't
just don't be stupid about it. Like, know your limits.
Yes, know your limits. Don't get wander off on your own drunk, because you are still out in the middle of the woods. So go out and have a good time. And if you want alcohol to enhance that good time, I fully support that. But know your limit.
Look, I know that bear looks very cute and cuddly.
Oh, yeah, that bear is not cute and cuddly.
Do not approach.
Right. So that's kind of like your carry options. If you can drink warm beer, you're welcome to take warm beer. Although, for my 2 cents, I think you'd have to take more beer than you're willing to carry, even if you like warm beer.
Really, really good at smashing them on your forehead. Crunch that shit.
I know, but that don't lose the weight by crunching it on your forehead. It can't still weigh the same.
But it doesn't have the liquid in it.
Well, yeah.
You lose weight as you drink it, just the same.
Yep.
If you want to carry it in there, then go for it. I just think that the amount of, I'll say this, the amount of beer that I would want to take, would take up my whole pack.
Right. So. Yes. Right. So we find liquor is the way to go. Find something you can drink at room temperature. Find some sort of carrying thing. I mean, we kind of touched on this, but like some places don't want you to take glass bottles. Like, but aside from it just not being a great idea and it being heavier, some places that you're going hiking prohibit glass bottles. So you're gonna have to find some other way to carry it other than in a glass bottle.
Yeah. I just sadly I do think that plastic is the best option out on the trail. Me being me, I will just say please reuse, please upcycle, please recycle, whatever.
And if there's a better option, if anybody listening to this knows of a better option than a plastic aside from like the other things we've covered, which is maybe aluminum or stainless steel, but like if there's a good, for all I know, maybe they make something out of bamboo that we just haven't come across, or
that would be amazing.
Do they make something out of hemp, or do they make something out of something? I don't know. I mean, maybe there's like those options that we just haven't yet come across. So if somebody knows of any of those things, we're all ears. Like I would love to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
If there's a better option than plastic, that's like the same convenience factor. By all means, let us know, because we're all ears on that.
Yeah. Again, this goes back to please write us.
Yeah, Mike just wants somebody to write us an email. If you could just, if you're out there, just send Mike an email because he's lonely.
Let us know you're listening.
Do you have anything else that we haven't covered that you wanted to cover, Mike?
No, I'm just realistically, just like everything else, be safe about it. Don't overdo it. If you're gonna drink on the trail, do it in moderation. Like, just be responsible about it. Don't overdo it. And just be respectful about how you do it. So I think that's all I got. Yeah.
So yeah, don't be annoying your neighbors. Don't be getting so drunk that you're that annoying guy out on the trail and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But if you have anything that you feel like we've said that's wrong, or you want to write in, you can reach us on all the socials at Shawn Mike Hike, or at ShawnMikeHike@gmail.com is our email. Feel free to write in about that. Yeah, that's all I got, Mike. Do you got anything else?
Go take a hike.
Yeah, go take a hike. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
You want to have a podcast about how much we hate each other in the trail?